Hey guys, Howard here once again with easy blues and blues rock riffs for beginners, okay? So this ties in with my other ones. I've done 1, 2, and 3, so this would be number 4. And I'll do this in a couple of different keys as usual. I'll play everything at tempo and then slow everything way down and take you through it riff by riff, okay? So both of these are once again based on a 12-bar blues. The first one is similar to one that I did in a previous lesson in the key of G, but we're in F sharp now. And instead of a shuffle feel, we're playing it with a straight 8th note boogie, okay? Here we go. Okay, let's get right into it. Once again, it's a classic 12-bar blues. We're in F sharp, and this is a pretty easy riff. It's basically the same riff over and over again with a few little subtle variations. So let's dive in, okay? You can see the tab up on the screen, but I will play it for you nice and slow. Okay, so it's based on an F sharp 7 chord, and that's where the double stop comes in. A double stop is when you play 2 strings at a time, 2 notes at a time. So I'm resting my finger, barring my finger essentially across the G string and the D string at the 2nd fret. Keep your finger as straight as possible. Pick those 2 strings together, and then hammer your 2nd finger up to the 3rd fret on the G string, okay? And then we have one more hammer on in the riff. Right there, okay? And make sure when you hammer, especially if you're just getting started on guitar, don't hammer by rolling your finger over. That's kind of a bad habit. Keep your first finger down until you have to move, okay? That way you get a nice clean riff, okay? And you want to play that 4 times, and then we move it to what's called the 4 chord. In the case of F sharp, we've got F sharp, B, and C sharp, okay? So we move it all the way up to the 7th fret, and it's the exact same riff. But we play it 1 time, okay? And then we come back to F sharp, and we play it 1 time there as well. Okay, so let's go over all that again. I'll play it nice and slow, and that way you can play along if you'd like to. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we move it to the 5 chord, in this case a C sharp, so we are on the 4th fret now on the A string. And we're essentially playing the same riff but accommodating that B string, and what I mean by that is we're going to play this. So what I'm doing is I'm playing double stops again across the G string and the B string, okay? So you want to grab both of those strings at the same time. Take that riff down to the 2nd fret, same strings, same everything. So we have And then we're going to play our first turnaround, okay? Which is pretty easy to see on the tab, but I'll play it nice and slow. Okay? Now I'm kind of popping those notes. I'm not making it sound like... Although you can certainly do that if you want to. That's going to be fine too, right? There's no rules. It's just the blues, right? But I'm kind of popping it. Pressing my finger down with each strike of the pick to give it a nice staccato sound. And then we hit that C sharp 7 sharp 9, okay? The classic Hendrix chord. So that's the 4th fret on the A string, 3rd fret on the D string, 4th fret on the G string, and 5th fret on the B string. And you want to make sure that you pick only those strings. So that's our first turnaround. Okay? And that'll come after this part right here. And then we return to the top, the beginning of the riff once again, but this time we're going to put a little walking line in between the 1 chord, the F sharp, and the 4 chord, B. So we're going to play it like this. So where that walk happens, first of all, the walk is on the 6th string, and it's the 2nd fret, 4th fret, 5th fret, 6th fret. And you can see that I'm hitting all of those notes twice. You can use whatever fingers you like to do that. It's not so fast that you have to worry about that too much. But that walks us into the 4 chord, playing the exact same riff at the 7th fret. So let me put that all together for you. So you can see where that walk up happens. We play the full riff. Then we just play the first half. And that's where the walk up happens. So you can see everything else was the same except for the turnaround at the end. This is our second turnaround, and instead of playing what we did the first time, we play what you see on the screen. Now that's what you would play if you wanted to end it. If you wanted to go another round, you would simply play that C7 sharp 9 chord instead. C sharp 7 sharp 9. But again, if you wanted to simply end it, you would play what I played. And what I've got going here is a G7 chord to an F sharp 7 chord. So I'm fretting the 3rd fret on the 6th string, the D string at the 3rd fret as well, and then the 4th fret on the G string. The A string is simply muted out by laying your finger a little lazily across the 6th string. And make sure you don't swing any further than that G string. And then you just slip it down a half step. So here we go with the whole thing nice and slow in case you want to play along, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's move into riff number 2, which is a boogie pattern, a shuffle. All right, so let's dive right into this one. Once again, it's based on a classic 12-bar blues, but we are in the key of A this time, and it's based on a shuffle feel, kind of a slow boogie, and it's a little bit trickier. There's a little bit more to it, but I think we can handle it, okay? So here it is, nice and slow. Okay, and as a quick note, all the notes are being picked. There's no hammer-ons or pull-offs. You can give the double stop, that B and G string at the 5th fret. You can give that a little bit of a bluesy bend if you want. It'll give it a nice little flavor. And maybe a little touch of vibrato on that 3rd fret A string. If you can fit it in there, depending on how fast you're playing it, right? And of course we're playing that twice, okay? Then we're going to move to the 4 chord, but instead of moving up to the 10th fret and simply playing the same riff, we're going to move it to the 5th string, right? The A string, and we're double stopping a little bit more. Alright, so let me play that for you nice and slow. One more time, really slowly. And then move it back to the 1, the original riff. And we play it one time again. So again, it's 2, 1, 1. And we move to the 5 chord, which is at the 7th fret on the A string, and we play basically the same riff. But that's all we play of it. Move it back to the 5th fret. So the 5 and the 4 are played just like that. Move back to the original riff, but that's all we play of that. Okay, so we're going to play this. And then close it out with. Okay, so what I'm doing there is I'm using the open E string, the 6th string, 2 strikes with the pick, and then walk 5, 6, 7, and open. One more time. that E string ring out and then form an E7 sharp 9 chord, but this time instead of playing this, we're just playing this and letting that open E string root the chord. Okay, so that's the 6th fret on the D string, 7th fret on the G string, and 8th fret on the B string. So that whole kind of turnaround then is and then you would start it all over again, or just land on an A power chord or whatever to end it, right? Now, you notice I did what I did in the first example. I put a little walking line, an ascending line into the 4 the second time around. So this is how you would do that. So you can see it's the same idea. Instead of playing the whole riff, you play half of the riff, and then the walking line, the ascending bass lick, if you will, takes up the rest of the lick. So you would put it right here. And that walk up is an open A string twice, 2nd fret twice, 3rd fret, 4th fret, and you're right into the 4 chord. Okay, so here's the whole thing, once again, nice and slow in case you want to play along with it, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go with easy blues and blues rock riffs for beginning players. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you haven't checked out the first 3, be sure to plug that into my channel. I think you'll enjoy those as well. And all the best to everyone. Thanks for checking it out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hey everybody, Howard here with easy blues and blues rock riffs for beginners. I believe this is number 5 in the series so far, and we are in the key of E once again. It's a 12-bar blues, kind of a mid-tempo thing, kind of like Outside Woman blues from Cream or some Hendrix style stuff, right? So let's dive right into it. We'll play it just the way I played it up front and add a little color to it as well. So right off the bat, we have an E7 chord. We're just using 3 strings for this. The A string at the 7th fret, the 6th string on the D string, and then the 7th fret on the G string. So we've got 7, 6, 7, just like that, okay? Now we're going to start off with the open E string, 2 strokes, and then hit the chord. And then we're going to play this. You can see that on the tab, but 5 to 7 on the E string, 5 on the A string, and then 3 on the E string. So we have. Come back and play the E7 again with the open E string, and then we play. So once again, that's the 5th fret on the A string to the 7th, to the 5th fret on the A string, and the 5th fret on the D string, and then a quick return to the 7th fret on the A string. So that's the basic riff. want to take it to A, so we resort to the 5th string, the A string, and we're going to play the 7th chord with just 2 strings, the 5th fret on the D string and the 6th fret on the G string. So we want to bounce off of that A string and then hit the chord, just like so. And so we play the riff on the next set of strings, meaning toward your feet, right? Right, we want to play that one time and then come back to E and play it one time as well. So we play it twice on E, once on A, and then back to one time on E. And then we want to move to B7, which is the 5 chord. And how I'm playing this is 7th fret on the 6th string. Skip a string and play the 7th fret on the D string. The A string is muted out. And then 8th fret on the G string. Okay? And we want to bounce off of that 6th string and play the chord. Just like that. We've got a little passing tone where our first finger is going to pop over to the 6th fret. Okay, and then 5th fret on the 6th string and form that 7th chord again. Exact same chord, just a whole step down. And we're going to the 3rd fret on the 6th string this time. So let me play that real slow so you can see exactly what I did. Okay, and then we're going to play a turnaround. The first turnaround is going to be this. So open E string, 2 strokes, 4th fret, 5th fret, 6th fret, and then we form that B7 chord again and we arpeggiate it like so. E string, D string, G string, back to the D string. All right, so let's play what we have so far, nice and slow. So what we're going to do for the next 12-bar go-around is we're simply going to reverse the riffs. So we'll use the E7 chord, for instance, and play the second lick first, and then follow that up with the first lick. So it's just flipping it on its head, so to speak. And then we'll do the same thing that we did before when we went to the B7, so we'll have this. But this time when we hit that open 6th string, we'll go, then move to the 5th fret on the A string, 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. Now what I did right there is I took that same E7 shape that we started out with, played it at the 3rd fret for C7, and then B7. All right? So let's do that again from the 5 chord. And so forth and so on, okay? So there you go with part 5 of the series, Easy Blues and Blues Rock Riffs for Beginners, or for those of you just getting started on the instrument. And I hope you enjoyed the video, and I shall see you in the next tutorial.